Today we're going to build this extra large pool storage bin. It has lots of room for your pool toys, and it's not really hard to build either, so watch and follow along. To get started, we're going to gently just get everything out of the box, and then I like to put the pipes in order from longest to shortest. Over here I have my C tubes. They're the longest, 29.9 inches long, and there are 10 of those. And then from that, we've got two tubes that are very close in length, and the B tubes they're the medium length tubes. There are 15 of those, and then the A tubes, they're the shortest ones, and there are about 12 of those there. So put them out in order, make sure you got them all there. For this first step, we're going to need two F connectors. Now, the F connector is a 5-way connector. You have 7 of them that came with the package. And then we're going to use 3 B tubes and 4 A tubes. This is going to eventually be the bottom support to the whole pool storage unit, and so just lay those pieces out and we're going to begin the connection. Now, just as you can see in the instructions, the pipes that are the longest, those 3 B tubes, they're going to go the length of the pool storage unit. So there are 3 there, one that goes in between the F pieces, and then one on the outside on each end there. And then to the left and right of that, I'm placing 4 A tubes. So 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Next, we're going to open up the mesh bag and kind of just get oriented with that. And I'm going to get out 6 B tubes and 4 F pieces, those F connectors, and 2 A tubes. Now when I put this together, I'm going to put it together without putting on the mesh. That's not necessarily, you don't need to do that. I just think for the video it's easier to see what I'm doing, and then I'll put the mesh around it on the bottom. So what I'm doing right here is I'm taking those 3 B tubes and I'm connecting them to the F connectors. Once that's completed, we're going to get this connector right here. This is the H connector. You need 2 of those. They're going to go at the corners where the B and the A tubes meet. Then I'm going to insert the A tubes into those H pieces. And to connect the H pieces, we need a G piece to go in the middle. So you could just construct all that inside the mesh. I found it easier to show in the video to put the frame together, and now I'm just going to kind of just gently take it apart and put it on the mesh where it goes. Now as you orient this mesh and put it on there, pay attention to where those Velcro straps are on the mesh. That is not going to go on the A tubes right now. We're going to save that for later. As we put this mesh on, it does build up a lot of tension. That's why I actually have to kind of take it apart some so I can fit these pieces in here, these B pieces. But the Velcro piece is going to go on last, and that they've set it up like that so it's just easier to attach to the frame we're building. I'm just spinning this around so you can see it. Still connecting these B pieces in here. And with all of that connected, now I can put on this bottom frame we did in step 1. And so I'm just going to flip it over and make that connection there where they cross. Now be sure that when you're connecting this bottom frame that you have those pipes in the middle that are facing upwards. That's what we're going to put these feet on towards the end. For the corners over here, I need an eyepiece. It's a 4-way corner connector. 2 of those. There's going to go on the edge. And then in the middle, we're going to have another F piece going into the middle. So there's an eyepiece, and then in the middle, I'm going to put an F piece to connect these final 2 A bars right here. Once you get that side connected and tightened down, I would recommend just kind of making sure this whole bottom frame is tightened. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to stretch this Velcro over because it's made to be taut here. And so if your pieces aren't quite sunk in like they should be, go around and gently just make sure all the connectors are really nice and tight, and then that will make putting this Velcro over the mesh right here on the end a whole lot easier. Now these are the feet that it came with. There should be 9 of those, and on my inventory list I've got them as separated. One says foot and the other says extra short tube. They all came connected in my bag. So I'm going to go ahead and put in those 9 right now. Now this is it's given in the instructions as a later step, but I've already got this thing flipped upside down. I'm going to go ahead and put them in so I don't have to turn it back upside down later. So in those spots right there where the 9 go, and then over on the other side, notice we have that those 3 pieces where the wheels can lock into. So make sure they click when you put them in, and that gives you a side where it can roll. Now the C-tubes, remember you had 10 of those. They're the longest tubes. They're going to go through on the sides. So take your time threading those through the mesh, and then inserting them into the corresponding connector down below. With my C-tubes in place, I'm now going to go through and put in all the final B pieces. Remember they go lengthwise. I'm just going to put them in without any connectors right now. Thread them through the mesh on both long edges of this thing. When I'm finished putting in the B tubes, we have A tubes that go on the end pieces. So there should be 4 A tubes left. I'm going to put them in right over here on the right and left side of the bin. And lastly, we're going to get out some connectors here. This is the D connector. It's a corner connector. You should have 4 of those, 1 at each corner. And then we have an E connector here, and you should have 5 of those, no, not 5, 6 of those remaining. And they're going to go all the way in the middles. So on the corners, I'm putting the D, and then in the middle, any middle connection here, it's going to be that T looking piece. It's a T shape, but it's the E piece that goes in the middle. Once I got all the horizontal connections made, then I go through and I just kind of make sure that this top frame is now resting on all of those C tubes, those long vertical tubes. So I just push that connection down, and we're pretty much finished here. I'm just going to go through and make sure everything's tightened up. And thanks for watching. Hopefully that helps and you've got a nice pool bin here.